Hi, I'm Sarah from The Upcoming. A real pleasure to have you here with us in beautiful Marrakech. Maybe you could just begin by saying a few words about what it means to you to be invited here and to have the opportunity to do one of these incredible talks, one of these conversations with the audience here in Morocco.
Yeah, well, I'm very honored and pleased to be here. This is a city I know since a long time, but I've never came for a festival, for the film festival. You know, usually I always do what they call masterclasses, which I don't like. I don't like this word, masterclasses. Tomorrow I'll have a conversation with the audience, and I will talk to them about my experience in film music. Most of all, my experience as a composer, because I don't think that film composer is a job. It's mostly being a composer. So I'll have a piano. I will give some examples on the piano to say, well, say in the film Betty Blue, this is how it came to me to do this melody, this tune, and this is how I developed it, and let's see now on the image what it does. So it's not much that saying that my approach is not very orthodox in the way that I don't like to work on a film once it has been shot. I like to be there since the beginning, and that my music evolve along with the film. Hardly I did a film where I came just, you know, at the ending of the editing, and they say you have a spotting session and they say we'll have music from here to there, from here to there. I'm not in this. I'm more in, if I'm a co-author of the film, well, I have to be there since the beginning and to bring some ideas also to the editing and sometimes to the shooting. It happened to me with Anthony Minghella very often on The English Patient and Mr. Ripley and Cold Mountain. So just talking about my passion for music, hence my passion for film music and for film.
Curious to know, I'm sure you've spoken about this many times, but how one gets into kind of composing for film, because normally we hear about, you know, you have a passion for music, you play an instrument, you want to become a music star.
I never wanted to become a film composer. First of all, you know, since I'm a kid, I'm born in Lebanon, and I've been in a boarding school until the age of 14, and my parents didn't want me to become a composer. I was like a black sheep in my family. So I've always struggled to learn on my own. I'm self-taught. I've never dreamt or wanted to be a film composer. Firstly, because I have no film, I have no cinema culture. It's not that I have any contempt for films, but I didn't have the time to go to the cinema. I want just to learn music. And it happened to me that I've started my first film with a very, very special director called Jean-Luc Godard. And he came to me and he said, I would like you to compose the music for the film. I said, can I see some images? He said, you don't need, I'm going to tell you the story. And this is how it started in my life. So I did music for a film of which I have not even seen the images. But I was so well guided by a director who speaks about his film that my imagination was completely triggered and passionate about doing this music. And I don't think that a film composer has to work by looking at the images. First of all, he should read the script, speak, talk, have long conversations with the director, and ask him what he's expecting from music and start immediately his work. Imagination doesn't come from looking at the images. It comes from somewhere else. Of course, crafting film music on the images is very important because you have to follow the movement of the camera, the dialogues, the colors, everything. But this is crafting. But imagination, inspiration, to me, doesn't come from looking to images.
And of course you started working, like you've mentioning there, with a lot of French directors and then kind of made this move into Hollywood.
Yeah.
What was that kind of transition like, and what might have been similar
smooth,
and what would have been very different?
Yeah, it was a very smooth transition since I've started Hollywood with an Italian director born in the Isle of Wight, Anthony Minghella, who is English, and I haven't started with the American directors. This is how I went to Hollywood and won an Oscar for The English Patient and been nominated for The Talented Mr. Ripley with Anthony Minghella and for Cold Mountain with Anthony Minghella. I have not been a Hollywood composer really, because I didn't want to produce music. I didn't want to be an industrial. You know, I'm not aiming to do many films. What I want is just meeting directors, males, females, and have a beautiful relationship. And most of all, not rely on my habits and recreate each time something new that I haven't done before. And this supposes that you don't do a lot of films. That's why I don't think I'm a Hollywood composer. I'm more, I would say, a very maverick composer, yeah, who just want to, firstly, to serve images, to have beautiful relationship with directors, and also to serve music, and who doesn't want music to, he want to be grateful to the gift he received from the music.
And maybe you can say a few more words about this incredible collaboration you had with Anthony Minghella and these extraordinary films that are so iconic now and of course very well received also, you know, on a critical acclaim and kind of mainstream success.
Yeah. My relationship with Anthony Minghella was fantastic because he knew my music I did for Betty Blue. He loved the music, and I did also music for The Lover, and it was, for him, it was very important, this music. So he came to me and he said, I would love to work with you, but before getting married, could we get engaged? I said, how's that? He said, I have a publicity to do now, you know, a commercial. Would you do this with me? I said, yes. And we started working just on a commercial for mobile phone, but at the time they were very big, you know, the first mobile phones. And it went so well between us because we had the same love for Marvin Gaye, for the Beatles, for Bach. He was a great lover of Bach, as I was too. And we started becoming friends, really. Then he said, I have a proposal, a film proposal from Saul Zaentz, American producer, English patient. But Saul Zaentz doesn't want to work with a European composer. He said that they are not reliable. I would like you to help me and to start composing the main theme for the English patient. So we read together the script, and he said, does this inspire you? I said, yeah. And I started composing the main theme, the one you hear when the films opens. And he, after a while, I came up with the main theme, and he said, would you come with me to San Francisco to convince the producer? And I went there, and I started playing the theme, miming what instrument was playing, what Russian basses choir was playing. And this Saul Zaentz said, could you play it again? I played again. I said, after that, he said, you're hired. So this is how it started with Anthony. But with Anthony, I had such a friendship. We were soulmates, really. We did many films together. And I was shocked. I was really devastated when he passed. And during 2 years, I have stopped working on film because I thought that never I would find anybody that I would have the same relationship with, like Anthony. When I used to compose for Anthony, I would give the utmost, the best of my skills, my inspiration, because I knew that I was heard, firstly by him. And if I was heard and accepted by him, then I was happy. Nothing else was important, really.
How you cope when things don't go to plan. So you have, you know, you win an Oscar for one film, and then with Troy, for example, things don't work out.
At the time, I was not aware that a lot of composers have been in the same situation that I was. But the problem is that on Troy, I've worked during a year and a half because they needed music for the shooting. And I had to reinvent what could be the music at Homer's time, what it would be. So I've casted a lot of Romanian, Bulgarian girls and all that. And I produced very interesting music for the shooting. And then I came to start the score. I was recording at Abbey Road Studios, and I had the producer from Warner, I had the director, everybody was there, and I had a huge 100-pieces orchestra. And they were over the moon singing my themes, and he was calling Wolfgang Petersen, his wife in Los Angeles, listen to Achilleo's theme, it's fantastic. It was there. So during a year and a half, and I recorded music, and I was mixing in the mixing studio at Abbey Road. I received a phone call saying, you are fired. I said, what? He said, yeah, you are fired. Why? Because they had a screening in Sacramento or somewhere else, and, you know, they put figures for each thing. What do you think about the music? We don't like it. And that's it. And I've been fired. But this happened to many people, you know. It happened to Alex North on Space Odyssey with Kubrick, where he took Ligeti. It happened to John Williams, to Ennio Morricone. It happened to everybody. But I was so, like a child. I mean, like a child who spent a year and a half on the film, and all of a sudden people tell you you're fired, like if you were, a piece of vegetable or whatever. Goodbye. That's why I was shocked. But now it's finished.
And just one sentence, what the future holds for you next?
Well, I'm doing a lot of things, not especially film. I'm preparing concerts for myself. I'm writing a ballet. I wrote a ballet for the Royal Opera with Wayne McGregor a few years ago, and I'm starting a new ballet.
Amazing. Thank you so much for sharing all that with
Thank
us.
you.
Really enjoy your time here in Marrakech and your talk tomorrow. Thank you.